Welcome to a new episode of Tabletop Discussion. I'm Sister Ruth. Let's see what our topic will be for today. The importance of co-parenting. That is a good topic for me to discuss singly today. To co-parent means for two adults to own the responsibility of raising a child. Whether they were married, unmarried, whatever the situation was, these two people, mother and father, mother and mother, father and father, two adults that have a child, and you're responsible for raising that child. You're responsible for parenting that child. I would like to say that at one point in time, the person that you chose to be the mother or the father of your child meant something to you. They meant enough for you to procreate with. So whatever your feelings are toward that person now, you have the ultimate responsibility of helping to raise the child that you guys have. And sometimes I think men and women forget that. They get so caught up into whatever emotional turmoil or events that happen in their relationship that's what they stay focused on. And they hold on to that anger or that sadness from whatever happened in that relationship. And sometimes you forget that you have a child together. I've professionally and personally, I've seen men and women pretty much, characterly destroy the other parent by the words they say, the actions that they take, and some of the ways they go about trying to get back at that person without remembering at that one point in time that they meant enough for you to have a child with. So that respect has to always be there. And I'm saying that for my sisters, and I'm saying that for my brothers as well. Both parties can get very bitter and stay focused on that and not the fact that they have a responsibility to parent a child. And because the child is the one that's suffering. The child is the one that's losing out. I've been in situations myself where all I cared about was the fact that their dad was present. Okay? I may not have gotten everything that I needed, but I wanted to make sure that he was present in their lives, that they knew who their father was, that they stayed in contact with them. Okay? They needed to know that children need to know it's not their fault, their mother and father, or their two mothers or their two fathers, whatever your situation may be, it's not their fault that you're not together anymore. And sometimes kids take that role because of what they see and what they hear. Sometimes we forget that our children are around when we're trashing their other parent, or grandparents and aunts and uncles, whatever family members the child may be around. You forget that child is there, and you're saying some things that can damage your children in respect of who their father is and who their mother is. So sometimes we need to step back and be the adult and remember that we're here for the child. So going back to co-parenting, it takes two adults to work together to make sure that that child has the healthiest relationship with both of them that they possibly can. We're living in a day and age of the world and being in such a tragic turmoil with, people hating one another, people bullying one another, that our kids should be able to talk to their mother and their father. Because they're going to need that person, that one adult, those two adults. They're going to need that circle to be able to go to and discuss these things. And when children feel that they can't talk to you, they seek outside. And then they start listening to other people. So the parents are the driving factor of where your child's information should come from. So if they see you bickering and fighting, or you're telling your kids to spy on their dad or their mom when you go visit them, you're creating so much trauma in their lives. Why would they trust you? Again, parents get so caught up in themselves and what they're angry about they forget that they have a child that they're responsible for. So for my people who haven't gotten to the area of being in court and have a judge dictating when and where you can see your child, we need to start taking that a healthier way to co-parent. Because once it gets to that level that it's on paper and it's a court document, and if you don't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you can be in contempt. And unfortunately, sometimes the man or the woman will set up situations so that other parent can be in contempt of court. Let's work on being better parents, because all of us know people in our families or friends or close associates that are going through that. That the mom is being sneaky doing this, the dad is doing this because he's mad about what the mother is doing. Okay, again, where's the focus? The focus is on you and not the child that you brought into this world. Look at the news. Look at the newspaper. Look at everything that's going on and what our kids are going through. So if you're not healthy for them, where are they going to get what they need? I mean, where are they? Then you wonder why they're hanging out with this person, or they're doing this with that person, or they're closer to your ex's wife or new girlfriend, or husband and new boyfriend, because that person may take the time and sit down to listen to them. Now that's sad, because you should be that person. Then your new mates should also be a part of that. So again, it comes down to the parents learning to be adults, because your kids need both of you. They need both of you in their lives. They need to know that they're loved. They need to know that they can come to you. They need to know that you have their back. But when they listen to you and watch what you're doing, they're not so sure of that. Then your kids get to the point where they don't trust you. Then you're in trouble when your kids don't trust you. Because that means there's somebody else out there waiting to create a situation that your child would trust them. Now you're mad because your child rather be at auntie's house, or your child rather be at grandma's house, or your child rather be at your best friend's house. Now you're mad. You can't be mad, because you were acting like a child and not the adult. So, let's go to the part of you're separated now. Okay? You're seeing someone else. You have kids. Your new partner may have kids. It's very important that while you guys are getting to know one another and, getting to realize that this may be something serious, I want you to meet my kids. You guys need to be realizing as well, not only because you're feeling one another and you're thinking about being in a relationship, you need to remember you do have children, because what you do affects them. So you can't be selfish and think you're single and, hey, I done met somebody, I like them, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to move in without a second thought, and, I'm going to live my life. It doesn't work like that if you want it to be healthy. It doesn't work like that. You have to remember that you have children. Then you have to remember that, hey, okay, this is getting serious. So I need to talk to my child. I need to let my child know what's going on. I need to see how they interact with one another. Okay? I need to know before we even think about moving in, is this person healthy enough at this point in their life to be around my child more than their other parent is? These are things you have to think about. But most often, adults don't think about that. They just do what they want. They move on in. And then when they start having problems with their kids not liking the woman or being disrespectful, or not liking the man being disrespectful, not wanting to listen, using those favorite words, you're not my mother, you're not my daddy, you created that situation because you didn't sit down and have a conversation with your kids. You didn't take it slow and do it right. You didn't sit down as a new relationship with the parent of your child, the other parent, and sit down and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're, about to do. Say Tell me what you think, what your pros and cons are, so we can work this out. Because this is going to happen. You guys need to talk. Yeah, another party may not like it, so let's be real about that. That man may not want to see you with another man. That woman may not see you with another woman, especially if you're happy. But it's not about you. It's about your child. So it's about what's best for them. And that means mom and dad getting along. Okay? Not saying you have to be best friends, but being respectful and being cordial. And remember, that's the parent of your child. This is the person that you decided to procreate with. So therefore, you have a relationship for the rest of your lives. It can be a stable and healthy relationship, or it can be a chaotic relationship. Which one do you want your child to be? Do you want your child to be stable, or do you want your child to be chaotic? Because they're going to represent what they see and what they're around. And then when things start going wrong, you want to take a look at, oh, it's her fault, it's his fault. No, it's both of your fault. Because again, it's called co-parenting. Two adults responsible for the raising of a child. We have to do better. Because again, if you sit right now and really think about some of your friends or even yourself, let's be realistic, even yourself, you know, how in the past you were, and if you had to do things differently, what would you do now? You know, these are things to think about so we can help our other sisters out how to handle this, because it can be a tough situation. It can be hard, especially when your heart is still tied up with that individual that you're not with anymore. But again, it's not about you. It's about the child and what's best for the child. So, as parents, you need to work on that. So that when you do end up in court, it does go smoothly. All those wrinkles are laid flat. And you don't have somebody else dictating what you should do and how you should do it with your child. But if you don't handle it appropriately, that's exactly what will happen. And it will be both of your fault. But again, some people may say, I don't need to talk to my child if I'm going to, move another person in the house, this, that, and the other. Yes, you do. Because the child is used to you and their mom or their dad. Now you're bringing another person in that they have to get used to, that they have to learn how to trust. You don't even know that person well enough yet. That's why most people end up getting together and moving in, because they're at that next stage, and this is the stage to see how things can really work. Well, you don't need to be playing games and trying to figure things out when kids are in the picture. Okay? When you're single, you can do that. But if you have the kids and you're the custodial parent, you don't have time for that. Because the wrong person can mess your situation up. The wrong person can mess your child up. So you take your time and you have those conversations. If you guys have to meet in a different place to drop the kids off, that's what you do. But you sit down like adults, again, co-parenting, two adults working together to parent a healthy child. So even if you're the male or the female and it kills you to let your child go over to their other parent's house and they're with somebody else and they're happy, you don't let that be known in front of your child. If you need to go home and cry, cry. But in front of your child, you show them that, hey, this is your dad, this is your mom. Go have your time with them and enjoy yourself. Okay? Some of the don'ts. Don't question your kids about everything that's going on in the house. Okay? And what I mean by that is, what did she say to you? What did she say to you? What are they doing over there? What do they have in their house? This, that, and the other. If you're concerned about the home and where your child is going, as I stated, as adults, You have those conversations. Hey, I want to see where they're going to be at. If you don't feel comfortable at that point with that child going over there just because of who that other your ex significant other is, then that means you guys meet at a neutral place. Because yes, there are some women and men that your kids don't need to be around initially. They just don't. Sorry for that interruption. That's my dog and my son walking in while I'm taping this episode, but this is real life. So back to where we are. The don'ts. Okay? Don't tell your kids to be mean or don't listen to the other person. You have some men and women that do that. You have some women and men that tell them you're not supposed to like them. You don't put your kids in the middle of that situation. I've been doing family therapy for a lot of years, and there's been situations where I've seen and been in sessions where families and the kids say, well, I really like Tina, but my mom said I shouldn't. So when I'm over there, I act mean towards her. But I really like her and she likes me. That's sad. Because now the child is in the middle. And of course the child is going to pick their mom, but they like the other woman too. And if their dad is with someone that they really like and they feel comfortable, as that mother, you should be happy that your kid feels comfortable and that your kid actually likes the other person. Because when that situation is like that, that means they're going to take better care of your kid. You don't want a situation where it's so negative and then the other person is mistreating your child when the dad's not around. Because that happens too. That other man or that other woman mistreats your child when they're visited. But when dad or mom is around, oh, they're just as sweet and loving as they can be. But as soon as they leave them at the house with those people, they're mean. These are the type of things that can go on. Another don't. Don't down your kid's mother or father to them. You may talk about that with your sisters. You may talk about that in therapy. You may talk about that in other places, but you don't do that to your children in front of your children. Because one of the things I learned about working with kids are resilient, but kids also love their parents to a fault. I've seen kids who parents haven't been with them. They've been out doing drugs. They haven't been with their parents for years, but they look forward to that one visit a week because that's their mother or that's their father. Doesn't matter that they haven't been there, just the opportunity to be with them. Some people don't deserve that because kids are trusting and loving, but you can only do it for so long before that kid looks at you and say, you know what? I'm going to stop trusting and loving. And then that's when you're on the road to losing your child because of your own behavior. Co-parenting is very important. You have to communicate. You have to remember that the child is the most important thing. It's not about you. It's not about your old relationship. It's about your child. Remember that. And if you can keep that in your forefront, that it's about your child, things will start to get easier. But you take your time, you communicate, you work on being better parents together. Your kids need to see that. They need to know that because they need both of you. And there's going to be a time where they're going to need both of you together and you have to be in the same space and you need to know how to be appropriate with your child. They need to see that. So once you decided to have that child, once you decided to be parents, they come first. Your children come first, no doubt. Before that relationship, before anything else, your children come first. You do what's necessary for them to make sure that they're safe and healthy, and to decrease as much trauma in their life as possible. That's your job. It's your responsibility. So let's do better. Again, I'm Sister Ruth. This is Tabletop Discussion. If you have any questions you would like for us to discuss, please send them to empowermentbuilders@gmail.com. You guys have a great day.